everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of BSP's Blocked List, presented by Couch Guy Sports. I'm your host, Brianna, also known as BSP, and my job is to take you through every story I am following and all the ones that I'm blocking throughout the world of Boston sports and beyond. So, this week, this is going to be a pretty full Bruins show. I'm going to touch real quick on everything else, but it's basically just going to be talking about the Bees and what the hell is going on in the bubble. Starting things off with the Patriots, they're starting to finally move into real life practices. They are not in pads until Monday, but we've seen video of just individual group workouts. We've seen video of Cam Newton throwing, and everything that people, again, have still been saying, that Cam just brings this different energy to the Patriots that they desperately needed. Mike Giardi reported that they have this new jolt in the atmosphere. And with Tom Brady leaving, you kind of would expect there to be a little bit of a hangover. Cam Newton, I don't think he's going to allow that to happen. I feel like he's definitely going to come in and be like, look, you know what, I'm the guy now, I'm here, I'm ready to fight for this, and he's going to take that big personality that he has and project it on everybody else. And that's kind of what I've been hoping for. I mean, I feel like this team, it needs a new personality, and he's the guy for it. Moving to the Red Sox, they still suck, and that's all I have to say about that. The Celtics start playoff basketball on Monday when they open up with the 76ers, which is going to be, I love it. I love the Sixers rivalry. It's 2 years ago, it was amazing. This just absolute hatred, I feel like, as Celtics fans that we all have for the Sixers is just, I know it's like not the same playoff atmosphere, obviously without there being fans, but I hope it translates through the TV that like these teams just really don't like each other, and Joel Embiid being like the catalyst of that. No Ben Simmons for the Sixers, so not that, you know, we had to worry about him shooting threes anyway, but that's completely off the table with his knee injury. It's just, I feel like it's the perfect test for them to start out, because they really didn't have a great season against the Sixers, but they can totally beat them, especially at the level that Jaylen Brown specifically has been playing. Kemba Walker's got his minute restriction, just no more. Jason Tatum being Jason Tatum, putting the team on his back when he absolutely needs to. There's no reason why they can't easily handle this series. I'm saying Celtics in 5, but we will obviously have to reconvene next week after a few games, and we'll talk about it again. And then speaking of playoffs, the Boston Bruins are 2 games into their series against the Carolina Hurricanes. Series is tied 1 apiece, and there's just a lot that I feel like needs to be touched with this team. So game 1, the overtime thriller, the double overtime thriller actually, after we were desensitized to overtimes with 5 the night before. Patrice Bergeron doing what he does best and winning the game in overtime to give the Bees a 1-0 series lead. Now, because their game got moved and they had the back-to-back, you weren't sure what you were going to see from them on Thursday night, but up until maybe the last 10 or so minutes of the game, I felt like they completely should have won it. My thing with this team, they didn't obviously win a game in the round robin. Whatever, exhibition games, get the rust off, not that big of a deal. It's playoff time now. It's a different style of hockey, obviously. There's no comparison between playoff hockey and anything else. It's just a different animal. And I feel like the sense of urgency for some is there, and others is just lax. Specifically, Tuukka Rask. Now, he said after Thursday night's loss that he just wants to have fun after 4 months of not doing anything and whatever. He's just out there playing hockey, and like they still feel like exhibition games because there's no fans and it just doesn't feel like the playoffs and whatever. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to completely rip him apart for that, because he's just, you know, telling the truth. It doesn't feel like normal playoffs. They don't have the, you know, the home ice advantage that they usually would have at TD Garden to open up a series with the psycho fans yelling from the balcony and people yelling Tuuk after he makes a shot. Like, it's not there. There's no fans. It's weird. I completely get that. To say that after a loss, though, is just, I personally think it's a bad look. And the comments really weren't even like, they can be taken a different way for sure, to be spun into oh, this guy just doesn't seem like he gives a shit. Which, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it looks, but at the same time, he's just being real. And like, as fans, you want your players to, just be upfront with how they're feeling. And I feel like that's how, that's what he did. The thing that I just don't like about it is like, dude, nobody after the overtime win game on Wednesday, nobody said that it didn't feel like a playoff atmosphere, that it didn't feel like a playoff game. Is that because, it was an exciting win and it was just everybody was on an adrenaline high and just felt great to, win the first game of the series? Or is it because after you lost a game that you really should have won, that you're a little butthurt and you're just talking? I don't know. My thing with this team is it's not all on Tuukka, the reason why they lost on Thursday night. It's not. I thought he played well. At first, I thought he definitely should have had that Dougie Hamilton goal, but then you look at it in slow-mo and it's like, yeah, there's no shot. Plus, it was a rocket. Like, it's just the offensive zone penalties, turning the puck over in your own zone, and not being able to clear, and giving Carolina this opportunity after opportunity for them to capitalize and for them to, come back when you're up. It's something that needs to get fixed, and it's obviously not the first time we've seen it from this team. I feel like more often than not, it's the same thing. You're talking about them not being able to clear the puck, and then it comes and bites them right in the ass. And that's not on the goalie at all. I mean, he's not out there, trying to clear the puck and playing defense. He's protecting the goal. That's what he, is supposed to be doing. But it's just, you're leaving him out to dry sometimes. And like, if I was him, I'd be frustrated for sure. But maybe it's just because goalies are a little off in comparison to everybody else. Like, your job is to literally sit there and get peppered by these rubber discs that are flying at like 100 and whatever miles an hour. So like, some screws like have to be loose, but I don't know. To make comments like that, I'm not really 100% sure how I feel about it, for being completely honest. I don't like it, but I also don't hate it. I don't know. The thing that I don't like is you are now tied a game apiece in the series. Carolina is gonna ride that high of winning that game in the way that they did. And like, I know they're playing in the same building and home ice isn't gonna be the same factor. There's no fans, so you're not gonna go into a different arena. Like, you're not gonna go down to North Carolina and have crazy Canes fans yelling at you from the stands and whatever. It's not a loud atmosphere. So you can't say that because it's going to technically be a home game today for the Canes, it's not really going to make a difference. However, them hearing that quote from Tuukka Rask saying that he's, just trying to have fun and it doesn't feel like the playoffs, if I were the Carolina Hurricanes, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Are you kidding me? I would take that and milk it for everything it's worth. Because to me, if I were in a playoff series, and I've never played professional sports, and this is obviously just me talking out of my ass because whatever, but if I were a professional athlete in a playoff series and a real prominent player on the team that I'm playing said something like that, where it doesn't seem like he's in it at all, and he's like mentally like, I'm just trying to have fun, it doesn't really feel like the playoffs, so whatever, if we win, we win, we lose. I would milk that shit like it's, are you kidding me? Go into game 3 and just fire everything at him as much as you can, early and often. Because if he doesn't, if it doesn't feel like the playoffs and like he lets one go past him, like, all right, whatever, I'll get the next one. If I were the Canes, I would absolutely love the fact that Tuukka Rask said what he said. And if I were the Bruins, I'd be pissed. As a Bruins fan, like I said, I'm not sure if I hate it because he's being honest and it's like a really weird time that we're living in, and it definitely does not feel like a normal playoff series, but at the same time, like, come on, it's playoff hockey. Whether it's in the middle of a pandemic or you're playing on Mars, there has to be, some kind of passion behind that. The reason why they lost game 2 was not because of Tuukka, but the reason why they may lose game 3 might be because of the things that he said. Because I love like bulletin board material, like the Patriots love it. I feel like every Boston sports team loves when people that they're playing say some stupid shit and they're like, oh yep, pin that up and we're gonna milk that and we're gonna be like, oh yeah, pin it up. Because we want to be able to look at that. We want to hear what you're saying, even if it's not directly about us, and we want to be motivated by that. And that's exactly what he's giving the Hurricanes. Which also begs the question, is Butch gonna bench him on Saturday? It's an afternoon matinee game after, a back-to-back that really wasn't supposed to be a back-to-back, but, you do what you have to do. And then these comments, is he under the impression that, all right, well, this guy doesn't want to be out there, so, you know, who wants to be out there? Yarrow. We're going to play Yarrow today. Sorry, Tuukka, like, shut your mouth. Or is he, you know, in the mindset like, oh, well, you know, our number one goalie, like, he's just, you know, saying how he feels. And we still expect him to go out and win. And I feel like he still expects himself to go out and win. But I mean, you know, it doesn't really feel like the playoffs for anybody. It's just a weird situation. It'll be interesting to see when this show airs. It's gonna be just about an hour. You know, while you're watching this, we're probably about an hour before puck drop on Saturday. So we'll have our answer, obviously. Part of me wants Halak to play just so it could maybe piss Tuukka off, maybe. And he can watch a playoff game from the bench and, you know, try to get that playoff feel if he's really not feeling it right now by watching another goalie play. And I like Yarrow's chances, I really do. I don't think the goalie play is going to make a difference in this series. I think it's Carolina's speed against Boston's defense, which at times can be really discombobulated. But I don't think it's, you know, the end of the world if Tuukka doesn't play a game. I still feel like Yarrow gives them a really good chance to win. It could go either way for me. Just these comments itself is what I'm gonna hit the block button on, because I think I've talked myself into not liking them for all the reasons I just said, especially the one where it gives Carolina more momentum going into game 3 than they already had after winning game 2. If I was a teammate of Rask's, I would understand where he's coming from for sure. Like I said, crazy year. This isn't how, you know, they expected to play their playoff hockey. You know, another city without any fans at a neutral site. Like, nobody expected that, obviously, but I'd be pissed. I'd want to go up to him and be like, dude, shut your mouth. Like, shut up. If he wanted to say that after game 4 of the round robin, in a way where he's like, well, you know, these are just exhibition games, like, they still feel like exhibition games, but like, we've got the playoffs now and it's time to kick it into high gear and get into playoff mode, despite it not really gonna, you know, feel the same because of circumstance A, B, and C. That would have been completely fine with me. Completely fine. But to say that shit after losing game 2, yeah, see, I really talked myself into not liking these comments at all, because I'm actually getting pissed. I appreciate the honesty, the upfrontness of what he said, 1,000%, but just the gravity of the situation. You're tied in a series where the team that just won is going to ride the hot hand, and they're going to go in and they're just going to, you know, they're going to love the fact that you said, well, you know, I just don't feel like it's the playoffs. I really am a little nervous that Carolina is just going to jump all over that, and just, if Tuukka plays game 3, he's going to do one of two things. He's either going to, you know, stand on his head and shut them out, or he's gonna let up a softie and then just crumble. And I know a lot of people, like, I've seen some people not really have a problem with what he said, and others who are, I guess, in the same mind frame as me, where it's like, dude, please just stop. Like, what are you doing? I listened to 98.5 this morning for the first time, and I can't even tell you how long. I know Zolak and Bertrand aren't, you know, the hockey guys, but even them, they're like, dude, like, it's just bad optics. It really is. Like, what the content of what he said really isn't terrible. It's just when he said it and how it looks in the middle of a playoff series. Like, I don't like it. I'm interested to hear what his teammates have to say, because I'm sure they're going to get asked about it in media availability. Absolutely. I'm interested to hear about what Cassidy has to say. Like I said, when this airs, we'll have answers to all of those, and it's whatever. It's going to be hindsight. Like I said, if I was a teammate, I'd be pissed. So I hope some are, to be honest with you. I hope, like, if Chara just said something like, look, it's the playoffs, like, whether it actually feels like it or not, we need to make it feel like it. And that brings me to who's mad, because as I always do, I make friends, especially during the playoffs, whether it's football, any sport. So usually in round 1 of the playoffs, I am beating the living crap verbally out of Toronto Maple Leafs fans. The Maple Leafs did not make the playoffs, as we all know. They choked, as they usually do. So I have gone toe-to-toe with some Carolina Hurricanes fans, specifically during Game 2, where everybody just wanted to bitch and moan about the officiating. If I see one more picture of that ref and his shirt is yellow and black, with a big B on it, I'm gonna lose my absolute mind, because the notion that the refs are on the Bruins side, like the Bees have their hand in their pocket, like, are you serious? First of all, if that were the case, no Chari last year, it would have been a trip. The Bees would have won the Stanley Cup if that were the case. It's not. And it's not this year either. Like, sure, there are some questionable calls that go both ways. It's not just, the Bruins get lucky with one and then the Canes are just sitting there and they have absolutely nothing going for them. No, not at all. And I'm not saying I don't bitch about the refs. Yeah, I do. I feel like everybody does. But I don't think I have ever said, oh, the refs are definitely on their side. Like, shut the up. Shut up. It's ridiculous. Like, yeah, nobody's perfect. There's going to be some questionable calls that get made. That doesn't mean the refs are taking sides and they want one team to win over another. Like, seriously? So, when everybody was fucking crying about this call that led to a power play goal for the Bruins, and then this call that led for a power play goal for the Bruins, like, get over it. You won anyway. Who cares? That's my Who's Mad of the Week. Carolina fans, maybe they're better about Cam Newton signing with the Pats, and they're just like, you know what? We're just gonna take it out, and we're gonna throw logic completely aside, and we're just gonna say, oh, the refs want the Bruins to win. Like I said, if that were the case, they would have won the Stanley Cup last year, and it would have been a trip. Sorry to bring that up, everybody. I know it's painful as but that is what it is, okay? The refs aren't placing bets on, who's gonna win the series. They're not gonna throw it just so they're right. Like, that's not how it works. Can we please be logical for once? I'm actually begging. And I hope to God I have some Hurricanes fans that watch the show and they get extra angry about me saying all of this and they come at me during Game 3. That's fine. I actually want that. I'm asking you to do that, please, because it's fun for me. It gives me a good laugh. Whether the Bees are winning or losing, especially when they're winning, it just makes things 10 times better. But even when they're losing and I have you guys bitching and moaning in my mentions, it's fun for me. I love making people angry. It's my thing. It's my proverbial drug of choice, is pissing people off. Like I've said many a time before, it's who I am. It's what I do. So that's that. So we have Game 3 this afternoon. Bees are looking to take a 2-1 series lead. I don't know who's in goal because I filmed this the day before. We'll see if it's Tuukka. I'm hoping he sees all the criticism that he's been getting for the things that he said, and he goes out and he just is lights out. I hope to God. If it's Yaro, I just hope he has a strong game, and I hope the defense helps him out. But my prediction is the Bees are going to win. I don't have a score prediction because I'm really bad at it. Like I've said many times before, I can't predict scores. I'm always wrong. So I'm not going to do that. But I do think the Bruins are going to win. They're going to take a 2-1 series lead, and I'm sticking with that. I'm saying Bees in 6. I just think they're an all-around better team than Carolina, and I don't see them, really struggling in it going to a Game 7. I don't. I'm wrong when it comes to predictions, but I really, really, really don't think I'm wrong with this one. But we'll see. We will talk about it again next week, and hopefully by that time we are talking about their second playoff series. We're gonna wrap up this one, Bees in 6, and we'll see you next Friday when it comes to the Bruins. And we will have Celtics to talk about, beating up on the 76ers. I hope no Ben Simmons. So it's gonna be a fun week. And naturally they play on the same days, because why wouldn't they? The scheduling gods of the sports world just absolutely love to piss Boston fans off and schedule the Bruins and the Celtics at the same time on the same days or around the same times, and that's what we're gonna see this coming week. And I just hope everybody has a 2 TV setup and they're ready to go. But other than that, that's episode 5. Like I said, everything else is kind of whatever. This had to be a Bruins episode. There was a lot to talk about. mainly being the Tuukka Rask comments. Hopefully there's no more like that where we have to pick them apart, but that remains to be seen. And that's a wrap on episode 5. As always, make sure you guys are following my Twitter account, BSP's Block List, and that's where I'm going to try my best to keep you up to date on everything that's going on with the show and things going on in the world of Boston sports, like I did this week with the whole scheduling switch around because of the playoffs. If that happens again, that's going to be where you're going to find that news. And I'm going to do mailbag next week because I feel like there's going to be a lot for us to talk about. I obviously was not expecting this week, but now that I have a little bit of a advance, that's going to be what we're going to do next week. And I feel like there's going to be a lot for you to talk to me about. There's going to be a lot to ask me about, a lot for me to cover. So that's what we're going to do. So from me and my little friend Rowan, who came to visit. Ro, come here. Hi. I will see you guys next Friday. Go Bees, go C's, and keep that block button handy. You never know when you're going to need it.